Today we're talking about moss. Moss is a useful block. You can use it to create mossy cobblestone or mossy stone bricks. You can also use it for decoration. It looks like a different shade of grass if you want to add some texture to anything green. You can also use it when mining. There's plenty of tutorials out there on how to do those things. And there's a lot of moss block farms out there. Machines that will just crank out tons and tons of moss blocks. But what if you are limited on space? Today I'm going to build a tiny moss farm. It's not going to be the most efficient one out there as far as how much it produces. However, it should be the most efficient that you can build as far as size-wise. With this, you'll get moss blocks, moss carpets, flowering azaleas, and azaleas. It'll also generate grass and double tall grass that when you break it will give you some seeds. So, let's jump into this tutorial. So for this, we're going to be using solid blocks. I'm using smooth stone because it cannot be transformed into moss by bone mealing. A few other examples: you can use cobblestone, you can use stone bricks. You cannot, what are you doing here? Go away. You cannot use, however, granite or andesite. You cannot use diorite. Cannot use regular stone. Those will all turn into moss when the moss is bone mealed. So you can't use those because then your farm will break. So first, to make our redstone clock, you're going to make a simple setup that looks just like this. One on the bottom, one on each side with a space in the middle. The space in the middle, you're going to put a redstone repeater. Make sure the arrow is facing that way. And there's redstone dust right here. So the arrow wants to be facing the direction that the redstone dust is at. Now on this, we want it to be fairly slow. So we're going to set it to our longest repeat. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4 ticks. Okay. This is important. Without this, the timing is going to be off and things will get jammed up. Now come right under here. Right under here, you're going to put your redstone torch, and you should see it should be ticking at a fairly slow rate. So if you have it set here, it's going to be going pretty quickly, but we want to slow it down. This is important. Okay. Now that you see that it is working, put a lever right here, switch it down, that'll turn it off. This should stay lit up. So next, we are going to build our simple stone generator. So first, put a solid block right here that will conduct redstone. Why are you guys always in the way? And a piston right here. That piston should extend because the redstone signal is coming through this block. If it doesn't, you have to use a different type of block. Okay? As long as this redstone is lit up, it should be coming through here and powering this piston. If it's not, then it's not set up correctly. Okay? Put another solid block right here. And then I like to put a trap door on the back right here. The reason is because it'll make it easier to waterlog this and it doesn't stick out as far. You can use any kind of solid block. If you wanted to use a regular solid block there, you can. If you're going to use something you're going to build with, that's fine. Like I said, when I'm making it freestanding, I just like to use the trapdoor so I can get easy access when I'm waterlogging it. Then, on each side of this, come out 1, 2, 3 on each side right here. 1, 2, that's where your 2 stone blocks are going to be generated from this waterlogged piston. Now you're going to extend these 2 and these 2 up 1, and then put a temporary block there. So you have this. So this is where your stone will come out of. Now put 1 block on top of here, and you want to come around the back here, flip down this lever, waterlog your piston. So it shouldn't be running anywhere yet. Now if you turn this on and come up here and look, you should see water flowing into this position every so often. Okay? That's where it's going to generate your stone. Every once in a while, the timing will end up a little bit weird, and it'll spit out a cobblestone first. If it spits out a cobblestone will not turn into moss. So with it running, don't aim at the piston, aim at the block straight above it. Drop your lava, and then sit right here. You should notice it. There, see, it changed, it made a cobblestone first. So we want to let that spit out, turn it off, break that cobblestone. Should be regular stone right behind it. So now we know that it's working correctly. That doesn't always happen, but it's always good to get that set up. You can leave this stone right there, actually. That'll be fine right there. And you can, now we've got our stone generator set up. Now we got to work on our collection system. So for our collection system, right where this stone is, come out 1, 2, 3, and over 1. Place down a double chest right here. Come around the back. Crouch and put a hopper facing into that one and another hopper facing into that one. You can test it by throwing a block onto this hopper and it should end up in that chest. Perfect. Now we need, oops, we need to pick that up. We need an immovable block here and one on top of this hopper. This one will stop this stone so it won't keep producing stone and push its way all the way out to who knows where. And this one will force that block right here to break the moss block once this is converted to moss. Then you want to come around to this side and put a piston facing in this way. Put a temporary block and then a solid block here. You can break that one. And then on top of this, you want a piston facing this way. Now let's wire up these two pistons as well. So first for the bottom one, that's really simple. 2 pieces of redstone right there. Top one, redstone right here. Piece of glass. This has to be glass. And then put a redstone right here. The reason it has to be glass is if you put a solid one, it'll break this line right here. Now you can turn it on and you can see those should both fire at the same time. And then turn it back off. You can see it pushed a block of stone out. You can leave that block, it's fine. It'll get converted here momentarily when we get it set up. Next, we're going to set up our dispenser that's going to bone meal. So first put down a solid block right here and put your dispenser so it's facing the space above this. We're going to put our moss block right here in a minute, and that's got to be facing into it. Then come around the back here, and to wire it up, we need 1, 2, 3, 4 solid blocks right here. You want a dispenser. I'm sorry, that's not a dispenser. That's a repeater facing into the dispenser. Make sure that arrow is pointing that way. That's how you know which direction the signal's going. And again, all the way on the longest tick. That way this and this are firing at opposite times. Okay? And then just connect it with redstone dust. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now if you test it, that should blink on and off opposite the rest of the redstone dust. Or kind of opposite. Okay, now that we have our dispenser right here ready to go, put a couple of solid blocks right here, a couple of solid blocks right here, 1 here and 2 there. That's just going to keep everything in. These right here above the obsidian, you can make them solid blocks. I personally like to make them glass, just so I can see what's going on inside, just in case something breaks. This one right here, also, this one needs to be glass. Again, if you put a solid block here, you can see now it broke that redstone wire. So you need a glass block right there as well. Okay, so the last thing we're going to do, we're going to put a moss block right here. So this piston's going to push across the top right here. Hopper goes into it, and then you can put a single chest or you can put a double chest if you want to put a lot of bone meal. Come around here, you want to close this off so that items don't pop out. You can either put a solid block, you can put glass, and that should be it. It should be ready to go. Let's fill up our chest with bone meal and give it a test run. You can see that's been filling up with bone meal. And let's flick this switch and let's give it a test run. When you flip it on, if you start seeing these little green sparklies, that means you've set it up properly and it is bone mealing stuff. Now, note, these all have to be blocks that will not change to moss because, as you can see, this is changing blocks all the way out here, all the way around, all on the other side. That block, when it's bone mealed, that top block, will change blocks that have air above it in a 7 by 7 by 11 area. So it's a pretty large area. If you don't want these blocks to be changed, then you're going to have to put something here that's not going to if you don't want these blocks to be moss, you're going to have to put something here that's not going to be changed to moss. As you can see though, it is working. You can open up this chest. You can see the items are flowing into it. We've got all the items flowing in there and it is working. You can look and you can even watch right here if you're really fascinated with the process. It's kind of fun to just watch them change and bink, just like that. And then, like I said, that top one's pushing all of the grass and carpet and azaleas into the hole there, so that way they all go into the hopper. And there you have it, our moss farm all ready to go. You can let it run as much as you want. Again, like I said, this is not meant to be the most efficient moss farm. It's just meant to be a very tiny moss farm. You can see it will fit in pretty much anywhere. I mean, it's 4x8 with the exception of the trapdoor at the back and the lever on the side. Have a good one, and we'll see you next time.